Students who are in the online, am I audible, students? Online students, right? Those who says good evening, I am also saying good evening. So let's start the discussion today. So we are entering into the most important topic, object-oriented principles. Object-oriented principles in Python. So we call it as OOPS features in Python or OOPS principles. OOPS principles also some people will call it as. So let's start about the index. So there is a very big index is available. That big index, I'm not writing it. It's our time waste. I'll show you the index which is already having with me. So that part I'm going to discuss. I'm going to show you now. So look at the index that I'm going to start without late. So here, if we go to that, look at the OOPS, index of OOPS. So this will take totally 11 days. 1 day extra I keep it. Index, what are the advantages of OOPS? And a list of object-oriented principles, classes, objects, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing, I wrote already discussed. This part already we discussed in the class. So what are the positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, variable length arguments, keyword variable length arguments. These are the things once again will come, that is known as what? Message passing, that we discuss it. So next, under the classes, under the objects, under the classes and object. Under the first one is called classes. There we are talking about importance and purpose of classes concept. There we'll talk about syntax for defining a class. Why come here this side? Why such a difficulty you are facing? So types of data members, and under that instance data members, class level data members, types of methods, instance methods, class level methods, static methods, and what is self and CLS and programming examples. So this part, to explain this, for me it will take around, of course, object also. I'll include object also. Where the classes first two things are one pair, next to two things are another pair, next to two things are another pair. Like that our applications are designed. So these classes and object to explain, which includes pickling and unpickling with OOPS, database communication with classes and object. This will take almost 3 days, 2 to 3 days it will take. So this part is a pillar for learning object-oriented principles. Next, I will enter into the other part of the class. We write inside constructors in OOPS about the object, importance and purpose of object, syntax for creating an object, programming examples and types of methods, self and CLS, programming examples on every part of it, object and programming examples, and that too OOPS with database communication and all. And next, constructors in OOPS, which is a part of class only, still as a part of the class only. Constructors in OOPS, importance and purpose of constructors, types of constructors, default constructor, parameterized constructor, rules for using constructors in the programming purpose. This part is another day. Next, destructors in OOPS related with garbage collector. Already we know garbage collector. That part internally how it works, I'm going to explain. Importance and purpose of destructors, syntax for defining destructor, internal flow of destructor, relationship between destructor and garbage collector, GC module followed by programming example. From here to here, related to class only. Next, once we know classes and object very thoroughly, next part 3 and 4, that is called data encapsulation and abstraction, importance of encapsulation, abstraction, implementation, we discuss, and followed by programming examples. Inheritance, importance and purpose of inheritance, types of inheritances, single, multi-level, hierarchical, multiple, hybrid. Syntax for using inheritance in Python, what is the syntax for using inheritance in Python? Programming examples. This part. As a part of that, we additionally introduces method overriding as well as constructor overriding. I'm talking, this is a Python related, OOPS related things. In Java, constructor overriding is not there. Overloading is there. Overloading, overriding. That is different. Next, polymorphism. Importance and purpose of polymorphism. Difference between polymorphism and inheritance. Method overriding with polymorphism. Constructor overriding with polymorphism. Superof and class name approaches in polymorphism. Followed by programming examples. This is my classroom agenda. This topic will be taken 11 days. If you go to any kind of Google, you just open it in 2 static web pages, OOPS is over. And in my class, and OOPS is very important when you go to AIML. When you go to AIML, every application of this will be designed by using OOPS. Why OOPS importance? I'll give you in the present class, and I'll start the importance of class also. Shall we start up? Right. So in this class, who studied Java? And frankly, at one time I will ask, then I'll move to the further. Actually, I can start. Still, I will ask, who studied Java already here? Not Nijan Chopal. Honesty is important. Girls, I know girls will say honestly, correct answer. Who studied Java? Studied. Okay, ma? No problem. Next, you also studied, ma? Yes, you also. Good. Not studied. Okay, 3 members studied. Other girls studied Java. You studied. I know. You also studied. All of you studied. No, no, not studied. Huh? Python. Okay. You people not studied. Backside, not studied. Studied. I know you studied. Okay. Boys, boys, come on. Not studied. Okay, good. Hmm? Radha Krishna. Just buttifying and forgetting, sir. Okay. Hemanath Sai studied. Hemanath Sai is almost studied it, universal subjects. He almost studied. Ah, okay. Studied in college. Shahid is also studied. So studied but forget. N. Razu saying, okay. Seema, not studied. Okay. Now I'm entering into the further. Students, whatever you studied, oops, that oops, I'm not commenting your knowledge. Because if I try to comment, it is a never ending story. Because I've seen from so many years together, my total Java experience, if I stick up to year 27, when September 28 is coming, 27 years will complete. I'm successfully completing 28 years. I'm entering into 29 years. It's more than enough teaching this Python. It is enough. So In this 27 years of time, when I look at various students, even though they are working in real time maintenance projects, that really don't know what is the OOPS importance, how important it is. So especially when you come to Python, AI, ML, neural networks, DL, deep learning, OOPS is very important. In robotics designing, they don't ask how do you design the robotic. They will ask you what coding they are using inside. They'll ask this fundamental natures. So let us start understanding about why OOPS and all these things. One by one, I will explain. No doubt in that it is a little tricky. In Java, it is a more difficult. I'm saying to you, Python, it is dead easy and it is tricky also. What tricky? Generate decorators you have seen like that. Not that much tricky, easy untadi. But you need to practice. Now I'm going to start the why this OOPS is. Now I'm going to start. So let us start understanding about why OOPS is required. So first I am entering into object-oriented principles or OOPS concepts I'm going to discuss. So I'm going to give some small introduction here. Students, when you develop any project in real time, when you develop any project in real time, to develop any project in real time, to develop any project in real time, we need to choose a language. We need a language. We need a language. Compulsory, we need a language for developing big applications. And that language satisfies two types of principles. Two types of principles. Actually, most of the time, before object-oriented principles came, there was only one system of principles in the software field. Two types of principles. What are those two types of principles? They are, now I am writing, first one is procedure-oriented principles, procedure-oriented principles, procedure-oriented principles. And the second one is object-oriented principles. Procedure-oriented principles. Second one is object-oriented principles. This procedure-oriented principles also called function-oriented principles. Function-oriented principles also we can call. Procedure-oriented principles. And the second next is called what? Object-oriented principles. Under procedure-oriented principles, what are the languages will come? Which languages will satisfy this procedure-oriented principles? And what will be the drawback of that? And what will be the advantages of object-oriented principles? That is what every interviewer will ask you. First question will come in the interview point of view. Why should I go for object-oriented principles? When they are asking why should I go for object-oriented principles, don't tell object-oriented principles. When I was in Java, what are the advantages of OOPS? They'll say class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, like that. What question I am asking, what answer they are saying? Question to answer is important. So procedure-oriented principles. Under that, examples are, under that, example languages which are satisfied, which you know, C language. C is one of the language, purely belongs to what? Functional-oriented programming language. And the next is called what, 8086 microprocessor programming language. And one more is called what, Pascal, which you don't know. When we were the first year, we have this language as a beginning language. Problem solving approaches by using Pascal. We have in first year. Later it is changed, problem solving approach with the C. And some university problem solving approach with Python. Even some NITs, Python is also first year. C language is also there. And Pascal we have. And COBOL, up to Oracle 7.3, up to Oracle 7.3, etc. And here I am writing after the C, I am writing Python also. Python is also belongs to what? Functional oriented programming language. When we come to object oriented principles, examples, if we come to the examples, I am writing C++, I am writing next to Java, next I am writing here C#.NET, C#.NET, next I am writing Python even, Python. See that Python is available in both the places. That's why in the beginning days when we enter into the features, I did not explain one feature. Did you remember what feature I did not explain? Both the functional and object oriented. Explained up? No. Other things explained? Remembered? Remembered. Explain చేయిందే గుర్తుంటది మనకు. Explain చేసినవి గుర్తుండవు. Already explained something. Did you remember really? No. Not explained. Remembering. Because always human beings look at remarks. Yes, myself only saying I did not explain. I'll explain that. Okay. No problem. So I'm saying to you, is the things remembered which is explained? No. Who will execute Python program? Python. Python. PVM. Good. Who will compile the Python program? Python compiler. Thanks to God. Otherwise, my mood will disturb. Because you said so many times wrong answer. Because when you answer wrong now, some disappointment will come. I don't know why. Because nature is like that. What we can do. Okay, anyhow, come to the point. C, C, Python, 8086, Pascal, COBOL, etc. are called what? Like this, procedure oriented. Object oriented principles, Python. Are you following that? Next, here, from Oracle 8 onwards, Oracle 8 onwards. Next is called what? Object Pascal, Object Pascal, Object COBOL, Object COBOL, Ruby, 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 Smalltalk, Smalltalk, Smalltalk. Like this, if we go on entering, there are so many languages. I can say almost all the present languages which are available in the language, all of them are belongs to object-oriented principles satisfied. My advice is once you learn object-oriented principles, those principles are common for all the object-oriented languages. What is different? Their syntaxes will differ from one language to another language. For example, class is there. Class concept remains same even hundreds of years together. Class concept remains same. Nothing changes in that. Object is there. Object concept remains same. Java object, Python object, any object remains same only. Polymorphism, same. Nothing will change. What will change? Syntax will change. Wake up at 5 o'clock early morning, opening nodes is called what? Always sincere policy only. Whether you'll open Java nodes or C nodes or C++ nodes or classroom nodes, that is remains same as sincere only, correct or not? Like that. Coming to the point of it, these object-oriented principles are these languages and these languages are this one. So my question is, Python is belongs to both the functional and object oriented. So the point to remember here is Python belongs to both Python language. Python language belongs to both functional, both what? Functional and object oriented principle. Object oriented programming language. Object oriented programming language. If any language satisfies functional oriented principles, we call it as a functional programming language. If any language satisfies object oriented principles, we call it as object oriented programming languages. Languages are of how many types? Two. What is the first one? Functional programming language, object oriented programming language. Understood? Now, and I said many varieties of languages, platform dependent, platform independent. Java is also platform independent. Python is also platform independent, but difference I said very clearly in the class. Anyhow, so I want to tell you, even though Python belongs to both the functional as well as what object oriented, what is the difference between all these things? I just want to discuss. See, students, even though even though Python belongs to both both functional and object oriented, even though Python belongs to both the functional and object oriented, everything is treated internally, everything treated as what? Internally, everything treated as what? Everything treated as what? Object. Everything is treated as an object only. This is a very, very important point. Even though Python belongs to both functional and object oriented, internally PVM PVM treats, PVM treats everything as what? Object. PVM treats everything as an object. Why? What is the best benefit of this object? And object to create class is compulsory. So I'm going to talk about what is the benefit of it. Everything treated as an object. Everything treated as an object. Everything treated as an object. Advantages. Advantages. In other way, it is discussing this entire point is nothing but advantages of advantages of object oriented principles or object oriented principles. I'm going to talk about it. That is in connection with Python. I'm going to talk about it. More or less other things also going to be same. And during the discussion, I will talk about functional programming drawbacks also. I will speak about it. Actually, anybody is learning C language, first they have to explain about the paradigm of what C language they have to explain. The model of C language they have to explain. What will be the advantages? What will be the drawbacks? And they need to explain. Anyhow, let it be whatever is happened. Now I'm going to enter into the everything treated as an object. First advantage is what? Because of everything treated as an object, what is an advantage? You are saying, sir, how do you say that everything is treated as an object? Go to the Python environment once. Go to the Python environment. See, students, run as an administrator. Here I'm going to take it. DEF, F1, F1, something I'm saying. Here I'm writing print of what? Hi. Just I wrote it like that. What is F1? What is F1? Function name. Every function name treated as what? Object. In our syntax, 7 points I said. Second point I said. Every function name is what? Object. Every object treated as what? Come on. Object treated as what? Ob object. Object of which class? Function class. Good. DEF, F1. Type of what? F1. F1. What is that? Function. Though it is a function, satisfies functional aspects, but internally every function name treated as what? Object. Behind of object, who is there? Class is there. That's why I'm taking everything is what? Object. A is equal to 10. Print of what? Print of what here? A comma type of A. It is called what? Object of which class? Int class. So I want to come to this point. So first point is what? Can anybody can say? First point you already know in my class. Tell me, what is the first advantage of function object? First advantage of object, because I cannot wait, because almost we are coming to the end of the course. We are almost coming to the end of the course. I'll just show you and I will move to the further. When you come to our 6 p.m. features of Python, I will go to platform independent. It is going to do you what It is going to, in an effective platform independent languages, all types of values store in the form of object. They can store unlimited amount of data. Unlimited amount of data. Hence, a Java object contains restricted, where Python objects contain unlimited size. Though both of them are object, Python object stores what? Unlimited amount of data. That I was shown Java code as well as what? Python code also I was executed and shown. So my conclusion is, so this was already explained. If you don't remember, I can't do anything. Object can store a large volume of data, large volume of data, large volume of data. Especially in connection with the Python, I'm talking purely with what? Coding level I'm talking. Understand this? Next step. Second one is called what? Second one is called what? Take an example. When you go to the application development in cloud or in the data science level, I'm talking Internet of Things and the machine learning point of it. This is called a mission M1, which is having the data to send. This is a very important, students. M1 and M2 are the two remote machines across the networks, and I'm having some large volume of data is there, or some sensitive data is there. Sensitive data. Sensitive data. Sensitive data means what? The secrecy of the data, like OTPs, like your credit card, debit card numbers with the CTV number and all those things. Your OTPs, your capture codes, these are all going to be what? Sensitive information. Such a sensitive information to be transmitted over the network in the form of what? Ciphertext. In the form of ciphertext. In the form of encrypted format, in our kind of things as called what? Bytes and byte array. This data is not trapped by the hackers. Even though they trap it, they can't understand what is the meaning of this entire data. Are able to follow this? They can't understand this data. How it is possible? Suppose if my machine M1, M2, having some app, having some app, having some app. These two apps are developed by using what? Functional programming language. Like a C language, if I use it, if I use a C language here, the C language will send the sensitive data as it is over the network. As it is in the sense, if I enter the PIN number as 4698, that will be sent as 4698 only as a plain text. As a plain text, it will send. So functional programming language like C will transmit the sensitive data as it is entered by the end user. That is known as what? Plain text is going to give you security problems. When you go to the object-oriented programming languages, the sensitive data will be sending in the encrypted format or ciphertext format. Closed format it will send, that enhances the security. So number one thing is, when I'm sending the secrecy of the data or sensitive data from one end of the machine to another end of the machine over the network, the data must be sent in the form of what? Ciphertext. Nothing but human unreadable format. How it is possible? By using object. Still you did not catch the grip in. I'm going to send it. Take an example. You are in Amirpet, Hyderabad, Amirpet, and you want to go to some KPHP. You want to go to this place and you want to carry some 50,000 rupees you want to carry, or 1 lakh rupees you want to carry. And what is this now? There is one person, he is taking the money and saying to everybody, in my one hand 50,000 is there, in my one more hand 50,000 is there. Anybody is there, you follow me. So he is going on the way by walking, by showing this money to somebody. Definitely all people are not good who is walking on the road. Definitely some hackers will be there. They will go, you will go on walking, and one lonely place they will attack on you. They will take this money. That means this data is exploring. Exploring. That means they are showing the plain data. This will become unsecured. The another person, if you take it, the another person who is another object-oriented programmer, who is doing what? He will create what? B is equal to bag. B is equal to bag. What is B here? Mudubabulo. L1 is equal to list. ఈ పాటిగా ఆ స్మెల్ అవుట్ వచ్చేసేయాలి. వాట్ ఈజ్ L1? Object. What is the list? Class. D1 is equal to dict. Dict off. Dict off. What is D? Object. What is the dict? Class. T is equal to tuple of. What is T? Object. What is the tuple of? What is this? LDT. What is the listed tuple dict? What is B in the same way? What is the bag here? Beginning day, if you remember, what is the bag? Class. Types of bags. Beginning day, when you came to my class, beginning, when you are innocent student that time. Now also innocent, beginning, totally innocent. Innocent Telugulo cheppala? No, you will feel it. Beginning days, when you are there, what are the types of bags are what? Objects. Bag is called what? Class. Mobile is called what? Class. Types of mobiles. Object. Class does not contain memory space. Objects will contain memory space. You can store the data in where? Object. To create an object, what is required? Beginning days only you know. You know, you don't know. You know that you remember. Yes. Now come on. This person will keep this 50,000 rupees one time and then second time. He will keep the bag and he will wear it and he will what? He will walk. And everybody is there in the Hyderabad. Definitely one bag or the other bag will be there. Will any hacker will come and open your bag? No. Still they open your bag. That will not be taking place. Even that hacker also will have the bag. But nobody knows that what is there in your bag. If you show public to everybody, it is a no security is available. Here there is a security will be there. So in the data transmission time, data will be always visiting in the form of what? Ciphertext. That is the main intention of it. So online students, encrypted format, I'm going to get it. That can happen only in the case of what? Object. Understood? No. I will show you that implementation in class. Well, now go to the next, another thing. In one of the mission, here I'm having Ranjit Kumar, they can steal the bag. Okay. Okay. If you think like that, I can't do anything else. Okay. Let it be. When I'm sending my data, I'm using my credit card number and all those things in my system. They will take out the computer means what can I do? So physical security is also there or not? Physical security is also there. Actually, and if I talk about security aspect, securities are of three types. Physical security, logical security, application based security అని three ఉంటాయి. Physical security, application based security, logical security. What is the physical security? To the school, to the college, to the university, to the organization. Security staff will be there or not? Why they are there? To steal the bag, to steal the computer. They are protecting resources, physical resources. If you show the ID, who want to steal the bag, they will allow. Actually, the security don't know he came for stealing the bag. He is having an ID card entered inside. After entering inside, he started the laptop. My laptop is asking, enter the password. You don't know password. What you will do? That is called what? Conceptual level security. That is application based security. Okay. With his technique, he will, with a microscope and all, he will see the letters. Which letter is pressing more? He will find out. He will enter. In cinema also, techniques are applying. Because of watching cinemas, thieves are becoming more. That is my observation. So let it be, because if any cinema liking people are there, they may feel. So let it be. If any cinema theater, I will not look at that side also. I hate it. So come to the point of it. Now coming to the next part. Okay, they found out my OS thing. They will open the app. App is there. In that app, what will be coming? OTP will come or not? If suppose if I take your debit card, I'll enter in the everything. CTV, CCV value also I'll enter. OTP will come or not? OTP will come your mobile or my mobile? To my mobile. Do you know that? Then how can you see that how many security things are there? Correct or not, students? So that's why, my dear student Ranjit Kumar. So if you say like that, I have to explain something else also. That entire thing I'll need to go for it. Understand? So come to the point of it. Anyhow, if you don't think like that, student, and please think seriously about the application development. Next is called what? Third one I'm going to talk about it. This is going to be like this. In my one end of the machine, I have a large volume of data is there. Large volume of data is available. Large volume of data. This large volume of data, I want to transmit to another end of the machine. Generally, when you take functional programming languages in both the sides, that functional programming will send the values in the form of what? Value by value only it will be sending. Value by value only values will be sending. If I'm having 1000 bytes of data, for example, how many times these values will be sending? How many times? 1000 times. 2000 times. Pick the value, send it. Come back, second value. To and fro. You went to Hyderabad to your native place. Again, you will come to Hyderabad or not? Because you are staying here only. You say, no, sir, I will be there in native place means that is a different story. Wherever you go, you will come back to that place once again, right or not? So to and fro calls are more between two end of this. It takes too much to and fro calls. Network traffic flow, network congestion will take place in network terminologies. Large volume of data transmitted value by value. Okay, if you compromise in value by value, during the transmission of the data, after transferring 500 bytes, to transfer 501 onwards, some network problem has taken place. Some network problem has taken place. What happens that time? Half of the data transmitted, half of the data not transmitted. When network is reconnected, it cannot transfer from 501. It transfers from beginning onwards. Because my app is closing. Are you getting my point? So again it is connected. Again it transfers from the beginning. Is it not my waste of time of transferring previous 500 bytes? Instead of that, value by value transferring leads to what? Poor communication. I want to transmit all at once. All at once transmit, either success or fail. Either success or fail. If it is fail, again I will send. Definitely one or next time it is successful. So all at once is reaching. That can be possible. Keep the total data into where? Object, and send this data all at once. Are you getting this point? So large volume of data, large volume of data, large volume of data can be transmitted, can be transmitted, can be transmitted all at once. All at once. That gives you what? Effective communication. Gives you what? Effective communication. So I'm going to take up effective communication. I think you are catching my point. Next point is called what? I'm talking about the memory performance point of it. I'm talking because memory and performance are closely interrelated. Go to Python only you take it. Python only you take it. Because I'm linking with the Python here. Python is what here? I'm talking about what here? Functional programming. Here, this is the one you are getting difference here. You define x.py, which contains def f1, having some body, having some body. Next, I'm going to take it def, I'm going to take it def f2, f2. I'm taking f2. This is also I'm having some more kind of information. Like that, I'm having two things. What is x.py is called now? What is x.py is called now? Module name. Module name. Now, students, carefully try to follow x.py. I'm talking, next one I'm talking, something like jet.py is my another programmer. He is saying from X import F1. from F1, or you can write in the same way F2. I'm saying that from X, import F1 and F2. What are F1 and F2? Function names. Function names are called what? Objects. Every object definitely have what? Memory space. So in functional programming, Z is feeling advantage. He did not write the same lines of code in Z. Advantage. Functions are providing what? Reusability. Very nice concept. But Z, when he is importing from the functional area F1 and F2 through modules, definitely in Z.py, F1 and F2 are objects of function class. They take memory space. In which program? X.py, Z.py. So why they are taking memory space? F1 and F2 are what? Object. Just now I shown you also. Just now I shown you F1. What is that? Class function. F1 is an object of which type? Yes. Import sys dot get size of what? F1. Get size of F1. Get size of what? Get size of. Get a size of F1. It is taking how much memory space? Sys is a module. To measure the memory space of an object, I will use what function? Sys is a module. What is F1? Muddubabalu function. Function name. Every function name is called what? Object. Of which class? I am measuring that object function name. Function name is an object. Taking what? 160 bytes of memory space. That is a measuring the memory space of an object. So here, whenever I am going to say F1 and F2 importing in Z, definitely it will take what? Memory space occupied. Similarly, k.py, in k.py also, what I am doing from X, import what? I forget. F1 and F2. When I am seeing this person also F1 and F2, comma F2, this person also going to take what? Memory space. So the functional programming drawback is what? I defined the function one time. My people are reusing through modules in many places. What is an advantage? Need not to write the code again and again. Felt very happy. But what is happening? In the performance point of view, F1 and F2 takes the memory space in Z. K also F1 and F2 takes the memory space in K also. But what is an advantage of functions? Code reusability. But functions will occupy the memory space. That is the drawback in functional programming in all the languages. Sir, in Python, object oriented, how it is related? Same kind of thing. I think you are understanding. Functional programming things are going to be reusability provided. But functional programming, functions or objects in Python takes what? Memory space. When I'm reusing in other places as modules. Are you getting me? What is an advantage? Code reusability getting, but functions are taking memory space. When you go to OOPS, the same concept if I implement in OOPS with the best principle called what? Inheritance. What is inheritance in lifetime? You tell me life level example. Don't worry about the subject. Life level example, you take it. Your parents worked for so many years in government service. They earned some money. They preserved for you. When you born on first day, total properties belongs to you only now. What is that meaning called? Did you work for 40 years or 50 years? But the day one itself, you are getting that properties or not? Are you developing that much of time to get that money? No. Are you writing the same code to get that money under thing? No. That means your team leads developed the code for reusability in terms of what? OOPS. That OOPS related things I am reusing. Through what? Classes I am going to reuse. Classes does not contain what? Memory space. Classes does not contain memory space. Who will contain memory space? I will reuse the class. Parents are called reusability. Class child of parents. Parents is what? Class. Parents features are coming to where? Child. How they are coming? Neither you are writing the source code, nor you are taking the memory space. So reusability of OOPS is much better than what? Functional level reusability. Totally, how many reusabilities are there? 4. Functional level functions, modules, packages. These are the 3. Problem వస్తుంది మళ్ళా నెట్. So coming to the point back, online students, am I audible? Am I audible? Okay, so small problem in the internet. Now let us take care. Now I'm going to come to where? Here I'm going to say module 1. Here I'm reusing it, takes more time and more space. When you come to what? OOPS level. When I'm coming to OOPS level, what is happening? Inheritance I'm using, I'm getting dual advantages. One is neither I will write the source code nor takes physical memory space. So which level of reusability is the best? Functional level reusability is best. Object-oriented programming reusability is best. That's why we can build reusable applications. OOPS builds high-end reusable applications will be built. High-end reusability, high-end reusable applications we can develop. High-end reusable applications we can develop. There neither we write the source code nor takes the physical memory space. This is done by using what? Inheritance. About inheritance, so many things I will explain. Understood? So Python is object oriented. You have to clearly explain. Functional programming and inheritance, both of them provides code reusability, whereas functional programming reusability takes function objects as memory space. But when you come to OOPS level, they will not take any physical memory space. So OOPS based applications are lightweight applications. That's why they are using in the robotics applications, IoT applications, they are using OOPS. Understanding my point? Because when they are interacting with hardware devices, they must be fast enough to communicate the communication process. So OOPS based applications are lightweight based applications. Clear or not clear? Clear. So difference between functional programming and object oriented. Python is functional oriented and object oriented. Both of them functional oriented based applications are little heavyweight. Inheritance based applications, object oriented based applications are lightweight applications because I said the clarity in the memory spaces point of it. Understood? Next, fifth one I am going to talk about it. In functional programming, data is available around objects. Around objects. And that is an open secret for you. In the total programming so far we discussed it. Take any moment of it. Take your previous concept called Python database communication. When I read the records from the database to my Python program, in which object that records is available? In which object the records is available? Cursor object. Cursor object. How we retrieved the data? Fetch one, fetch many with various cases, fetch all. I applied like that or not? Take anything. Objects are important. When you go to functional programming, how we used to pass the inputs? In functional programming, functions, if you take it, how many phases are there? How many? 2 or 3 or 4 or 2, 3, 4, don't know. 3. Actually, నేను ఆప్షన్ చెప్పకూడదు. నేను ఆప్షన్ చెప్పేసరికి మీకు స్ట్రైక్ అయింది. That's why I'm totally against to the options. Yesterday, we conducted placement test. Placement test I conducted. I only gave the paper. Every time I only will give the paper. Actually, I want to give a very toughest paper. పోనీలే అని నేను వేసి ఇచ్చేసా. Because placement test, screening test 1, screening test 2. Screening test 1. So this is the questions. These are the questions. When you go for it, I gave these questions and I gave these questions. See that I gave fill in the blanks also. I gave the fill in the blanks also. I gave this fill in the blanks. So coming to this place, programs test also gave. I gave programs test also. This test also I gave you. So of course, NumPy pandas not over, because this is not keeping one student in the mind. In general, I covered it. And that code also I gave. Code also. This is a key paper. That is a key paper. Actually, I want to set very toughest paper. Because by seeing the question paper, everybody has to go to home immediately. Like that, we have to set the paper. But let them, why to go to home immediately? Like that, let them sit for half an hour in the test I gave. So, Emnath is saying, keep the notes. I'll keep the notes, not immediately. I'll keep the notes, not immediately. I'll keep after 20 days. After 20 days, after the results are out, I will keep it. So, of course, already papers are there with them, but I should not. Now, so Anita, I will send you, ma. When I'm showing means definitely I'll send you. Definitely I'll send you. Previously, I gave one thing. How do you write a Python program to design the doormat? Welcome is there or not? Welcome. Welcome is there in the doormat. Like a Naresh IT, I want to design. I want to design like a doormat, like a Naresh IT. So go to the place. Go to the place. Here there is a, of course. So say there is a, where is this? So here there is a programs test like this. This is my previous. There, lot of students came. That time 0, 1, 2, 3, 5 marks also did not come. Once we test the paper, even if they search in Google also, output should not come. Like that we have to set. Because some intelligent people will be there. They will take the pic, they will scrap it, immediately send to Google. Hey Google, where is the output? So Google says, programmer, I don't know, you ask here. So like that, in my entire Saturday, without taking rest, I prepared a question in such a way that they should not look into that. After customizing my question, I put it in Google. No results found, I got it. That results only I put it. So that type of test we have to conduct. So come to the point. So don't expect subject is suppose I explain. If I give the same questions, test is not there. ఇప్పుడు చాలా కాంప్లికేటెడ్ ఉండాలి. Even you also should be very complicated. Typical ఉండాలి ఎప్పుడు. Typical. You should not understandable as somebody. Typical. Right? Anyhow, data is always available around what? Objects. Tell me, how many phases are there in functions? Come on. Huh? Come on. 3. What is the number 1? Every function takes input. Every function processes the input. Every function must give the result. In how many places I give my input? In how many functions we can give our input? 2 places. One is in function call. One is in the function body. Already said, taking value, returning value. Not taking value, not returning value. Taking value, not returning. Not taking, returning. I said so many clearly to you. That point is useful. Suppose I want the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division for 2 numbers with the functions. two numbers I have to pass 4 times to 4 functions or not? Sum of 1020, div of 1020, multiplication of 1020, mod of 1020. In C language, I am talking about it. That time what will happen? 4 times 4 same values I am saying. Is it not my waste of memory space? In function call, in function body, I can write A and B values 4 times. It's waste of memory. Instead of that, I'll keep my value in where? I'll keep my value in object. In that, I will keep the value called AB as 1020. How many times I am representing? One time. O1 dot what I am saying? Sum of. O1 dot what I am writing? Sub of. What I am writing next? O1 dot div of. O1 dot mod of. What is the sum function definition says? DEF. Sum of. I will take it what? C is equal to A plus B. A value will be taken from here because O1 you said. B value will be taken, kept into the local variable. How many times I mentioned it? One time only I mentioned it, used in everywhere. This is also one of the least memory spaces taken. That's why OOPS based applications are lightweight based applications. So data is available around objects in OOPS. Data is available around either in function calls or in the function bodies in where functional programming. Which one will take more memory space? Functional oriented principles satisfying language will take more memory space. They are called heavyweight applications. Object oriented based applications are taking less memory space because the data is centralized. One more, set S1, set S2, union, intersection, difference, symmetric difference, all of them I am applying an S1 and S2. Multiple operations are there, but data stored in one place only. What it means, data is already centralized. So you are not writing any special program for minimizing the memory space. OOPS itself will follow that principle. That principle itself will made us what? High performance applications. A hostel is having the rule, need to wake up at 5 o'clock, need to follow the rules like this, need to read, practice. If you satisfy, you will get the job. If you don't satisfy, you will roam on the road. Two things. Those who are expecting job, definitely they will join the principles. Correct or not? Same thing OOPS also like this. So what are the advantages of OOPS? In OOPS based applications, object stores unlimited data, takes what? High-end data calculations. Second, secrecy of the data can be transmitted securely. Security is improved. Large volume of data can be transferred all at once. Effective communication, got it. Next, data is available around the objects so that least memory space, less memory space is taken. Reusable applications we can develop in the high-end format. That means functions also reusable, but functions importing time through module will take space every time, but inheritance will take what? Less memory space. No memory space I can say. That is called virtual memory management we can call. Suppose online students are there. They are there in my class, but are they taking any memory space? Are they taking any resources of my class? But they are there in my class. You are there in my class. Lights on, fans on, so much current bill will come. But online students, what will come? Zero cost. Institute is giving zero cost, but only effective subject is giving. Right or not? So, come to that. These are called what? Example, online students are called object-based objects, and you people are what? Physical objects sitting in front of me. I hope that don't tell this example in interviews. These things you have to say as it is. And if you see, oops, some internet website developer will say, cost is very less. Oops, use less cost entered. Less cost to more money, less money. That is not the program you write or not. That is why they will say less cost. To go for high-end reusable application, you need not to buy high-end memory. You need not to buy. That is called what? Less cost it is. Don't explain the practical subject in English. Explain the subject in practical format. Clear or not clear? Clear. Is it clear? Now I'll show you further a small example here. Students, so I will go for entering into the further. Here I'm going to show you a small meaning of it. So I go for introduction to object-oriented features. Introduction. Whatever is explained, I'm showing the introduction. Actually, it is a little difficult. I like this topic very well. I like it very much. So why you have to like all complicated topics? Because complicated topics, everybody cannot learn it. When you go to an interview, if they touch a complicated example, if everybody is getting fail, if you answer it, you are the first person to receive the offer letter or not. That's why you have to like all complicated topics. Now, in real time, to develop any project, we need to choose a language. The language which we select for developing the project can satisfy two types of principles, procedure oriented or functional oriented. In other words, we have two types of programming languages. They are procedure or functional oriented programming languages, object oriented programming languages. I am giving here procedure or functional oriented programming languages. If any programming language satisfies procedure oriented principles, then that languages are called procedure or functional oriented programming language. C, Pascal, etc. are called what? Procedure oriented. Oracle you are learning. Are you learning Oracle? Learning Oracle? Learning or not learning? Purchase that book? No. Only book name one important. Right. Anyhow, object oriented. In in Oracle, object oriented features they don't explain. But when you go to an interview of Oracle, they will ask object oriented principles. Then that time, how do you answer it? Just I'm asking. That's why Oracle 8 onwards, it satisfies object-oriented principles. That's why be perfect in my class. So object-oriented programming languages. If any language satisfies object-oriented principles, that language is called object-oriented. All the languages I wrote it. Python also mentioned. Python also mentioned. Even though Python belongs to both functional and object-oriented language, internally everything treated as object. Everything treated as an object advantages or advantages of OOPS. It stores unlimited data. Large volume of data transferred between multiple remote machines all at once gets effective communication. Confidential data transferred between multiple remote machines in the form of ciphertext so that security enhanced, that is improved. Data always available around the objects gives less memory. We can build high-end reusable applications by using inheritance. These are the ultimate advantages of what? OOPS. These things I'll show in the coding also. Understand? So first question comes in what? What are the advantages of OOPS? You don't tell full form. You don't tell object-oriented principles. Question to answer. In exam, if you write whatever you like it, that is different story. Face to face, they are asking which place you are residing. I am residing in Bangalore. If you say what they will see, you are there in Hyderabad. You are saying something else like that. Question to answer is important. Understand? Well, online students, up to here, am I clear? Please respond quickly. Am I clear up to here? Respond. Now I'm going to enter into the further. They are thinking, so how to crack this type of questions? How to crack this type of questions? I'll give you. I have so many multiple choice questions are there. I'll give you all of you. After that, one by one, I will go on posting. So Python exercises, multiple choice questions. Okay, this is the one which I gave you. So here you go for it. Multiple choice questions. So I'm having, these are all called what? Customized. I myself written a small code by changing lot of content, adding to that, lot of things are there. So I have some 30 questions prepared on loops. If you prepare the 30 questions, any looping question is given, you can answer it. Like that. Anything learning now, you have to learn. Thinking questions, you have to learn it. What are the features of Python? If you buttify half an hour, 2 hours, what is the use? No use. What is the while loop? Syntax and all those things, write it. 10 marks question. Academics. 10 by 10. Enjoy. But when you go to interview, what will happen? Coding on multiple. They don't ask concept. They will ask what? Coding. Correct or not? Sin theta, cos theta, all 6 ratios. Intermediate IP important. IIT will they ask? They will ask what? Direct questions. I&D questions they will ask. That you have to learn. Understand, students? Anyhow, coming to that. So, coming to the point of what are the object orient? Before entering into that, who invented OOPS? Who invented OOPS? Come on. Who invented OOPS? If you ask Python people, do you have anything in the mind? Who invented OOPS? If you ask Python people, they'll say Rossum. If they ask Java people, they'll say James Gosling, who is the father of Java. If they ask who invented OOPS, C++ people, who will say Stroustrup. If they ask C#.NET students, who invented Microsoft people, they will say. These are all called what? Followers of OOPS. OOPS implemented by OMG. OMG. What is OMG? ఇదే వద్దని చెప్పాను. OMG is called your favorite answer, Object Management Group. Object Management Group. Spell out. Yes. Those people developed this OOPS. When you become an expert in real time, you will think, okay, because of this code, this problem is coming. Shall we develop any principle for avoiding this problem from the programmer side? Those principles designed, that is called OOPS principles only. Understand? So, coming to the point of it, here I'm going to say, of course, nobody will ask the question, just for your clarity. So, who developed OOPS principles? OMG group. They developed lot of principles. Actually, 7 OOPS principles are available. In Python, one principle is inbuilt. In Java, 7 are there. In Python, inbuilt is available because this is a very complicated principle. In Java, dynamic binding is there. Dynamic binding. These people who are training nowadays Java, they are saying data binding. Actually, it is a dynamic binding. They are saying data binding. What I can say to them? Let them. Everybody saying data binding, data binding. It is not data binding, dynamic binding it is. Let it be. Coming to the point of it. To say any language is object oriented, to say a language is object oriented, it has to satisfy principles of OOPS. What are the principles it has to satisfy? Classes, objects, data encapsulation, data abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. Some of the websites, some of the teachers will say that OOPS principles are only 400. As you only developed that OOPS. The poor students who will follow that, they will go to interview will ask how many OOPS principles are there. You'll say 4. It is not your mistake. The person who is injecting the knowledge the first time in the brain, they are important. Correct or not, students? What you'll say 4. And you'll say, what are the 4? You'll say the 4 which I highlighted. Now I'll ask immediately a question. I want to write a Python program or Java program, C++ program, .NET program for addition of 2 numbers by using OOPS. Then first which concept you will start? Compulsory you will use class. Definitely that candidate will say class. Class name he will write. Then he will catch you. What is the class? What is the class? You said OOPS principles are 4 only. But why class is coming? What is class? Which principal class is? Class is there in Java. Class is there in Python. Class is there in C++. Class is there in C#.NET. Then what is the class? Tell me. That time no answer. Interview will say, okay, goodbye. Call you later. If you say 8, definitely an interviewer who knows only 4, he will definitely listen the extra 4. Extra 4. Suppose an interviewer did not get the interview question as what, how many OOPS principles are there? When he was selected, for example, Now he is asking how many OOPS principles are there. You are saying 8. Definitely, you will not say, okay, we'll call you later. You will say what? Tell me what are the 8. You will tell this one, you will tell this one, you will tell this one extra dynamic binding, which is not necessary for the Python programmer, plus extra this 4, which he know already. Definitely, he will ask you, only 4 now you are saying 8. You tell that guy, 4. In websites and all, they say 4. But I'm asking the question straightforward to interviewer. You also ask her, how do you develop the program using inheritance? What concept is compulsory? Class. I want to write a small example in the OOPS class compulsory. Then what is the class? C++ class is there, Java class is there. In every object-oriented programming class is there. Then you ask him, what is the class? You open the Python documentation, help of int, class int. Then interviewer will say, okay, I don't know. When you join in my company, give me a special training, you will say. Like that, you need to learn. So once you learn, how many OOPS principles are there? Not 4. Anybody says 4? Ask a question. That question is, how to write a data encapsulation program? Say, to write that any kind of code, pillars are what? How many OOPS principles are there in Python? 7. Now, let us go. Here I am going to enter into this place. Here I am going to enter into this place. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take up object-oriented principles. To say a programming language is object-oriented, then it has to satisfy the following principles. Number 1, classes. Number 2, object. Number 3, data encapsulation. Number 4, next, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing. These are the object-oriented principles. This is already discussed it. Whether you remembered or not, I don't know, but I discussed it. Very beautiful examples I gave. Message passing means sending the data from function call to function definition in the form of positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, variable length arguments, keyword variable length arguments. Did you remember? Can you write a code for that today? Can you write a code for variable length arguments? Can you write a code for default arguments? On the camera. Why? Daily age is increasing, not remembering. Age increasing, remembrance going down. Then when do you do that then? When both of them coincided and when do you get the job then? So coming to that, enter Shahid. That's what his teacher also said 4. Shahid teacher also said. Many teachers will say like that because every day before going to that, they will read some book. Is that book fellow is a OMG group? Huh? Come on. Is that website designer is OMG group? Huh? You will say something, you will listen it, and you will feel internet is don't create it is a heavenly body coming all of sudden to the universe. Understand? That's why, my dear students, don't go to that. You need to go to it. Anyhow, I'll start first with what? Class. Okay. So, Hemnath, in Java, my faculty said 6 types. They will say whatever they like it. So, coming to the point back, now I'm entering into which concept? Class. Start with a class. My dear students, let it be whatever they say. Now, try to understand now. Class. Now I'm going to enter. Just I will tell only 4 points here. Only 4 points. I'm not going to give you big lecture about it. Definition of what? Class. Understanding class really complicated. Really complicated. Not complicated because already I prepared the ground for you. Now I'm entering into the point. Here I will define the class. I'll tell the points about the class technically and followed by syntax. Only 4 points. Ultimate. You apply on every object oriented programming. Even you get 50 years, 60 years also. Same concept you apply. Okay, now these points directly from OMG documentation I'm giving it. Let's start. How many data types? 14. What is the last data type? none type. First data type, next, like that all 14 data types. All 14 data types are called a dash. Come on, classes. Classes. 14 data types అంటే plural. మీకు సింగులర్ కు ప్లూరల్ కు తేడా తెలియదు. ఎందుకంటే మీరు plural classes. You defined, already defined. They are called which classes? Predefined classes or built-in classes. Every class of Python belongs to dash module. Beautiful. Which module by default imported to every Python program? Built-ins. Built-ins. In built-ins, all our classes are present so int, float, bool, and etc. Everything is having their own principles now. 14 data types systematically, clearly, I gave you the principles. Now, my requirement today is I want to store the data in such a way that like this I want to store. How I want to store? SNO is equal to 10, comma, yes name is equal to something like, Pankaj, I want to store. And next is called yes, marks is equal to what? 45.67. And C name, college name is equal to JNTU. I just wrote like this. I want to store like this. I want to store like this. What is it? Is it? Is it list? Is it list? Have you done like that? If you say like that, they'll ask you who is your faculty. Compulsory will tell my name. I did not say like this. నేను చెప్పానమ్మా ఈ విధంగానే నేను అసలు చెప్పలేదు. I did not say like that. List means like this. 10 comma, Pankaj comma, next is called what? 45.67 comma, and JNTU. This is called a list, I said. Correct. So, this is like this, I said. Am I correct or not? Like this, I said. But I'm asking like this. Is it a list? Because you are seeing this bracket. That's why you are feeling it is a list. Now I'm changing my bracket. What is this? Huh? Who said? Raise your hands. Good. Wrong answer. I said what? SNO colon 10. Like this, I said. Key colon value. Key colon value. It is looking like what? Dictor. Key and value. Key and value. I know you will answer like this only. Not even today. 10 years onwards, I am asking, they will say same thing only. Because I know what you are. Where you will fall down, where you will rise, where you will fall down. I know every moment because I have a lot of journey with you people. Okay. Yes name. Yes name colon what? Pankaj. So like this. You got it. Like that. We are organizing the data in the form of what? Key colon value. This is a colon. And you did not see the colon. And you completely forget about the colon. What the colon is used in Python? Where is the colon is used in Python? Number one, to separate key comma value pair. Number two, used in where? Indentation symbol. Understood? What is it now? What is it now? Come on. What is this now? What is it now? This is not a data organization of any of my data types. Not a dictionary, not a list, not a tuple, not a set, not any of the objects of my data types. This is called what? Customized data storage. Customized data storage. Customized data storage. I want to store the data like that. Is it a list? Is it a dict? Is it any 14 data types? No. It is called what? My own customized data. To store customized data in Python, what is supposed to use? Object. Object I need to use. Behind object, who is there? class. Now, and don't try to go to my beginning class. Don't remember that. I'm giving technicalities here. So this is my customized data. So I want to define what? My own class I want to develop. My own class I want to develop. That class is called what? KVR dict. KVR dict or KVR list. I want to go for it. I will take that KVR dict. As you are saying dict of like that, I am going to take it as what? D2 is equal to KVR dict of, I will say. What is dict here? Predefined class. What is this KVR dict here? Programmer defined class. What is the use of class? If you take any academic student, their teachers already said a class is a collection of objects. It is the first blunder. What is the purpose of class? Now I am writing the purpose of class, the purpose of classes concept. The purpose of classes concept is that to develop programmer defined data types. Programmer defined data types. Sir, why programmer defined data types? To store customized data. To store customized data. Are you following me? Plus, to develop any real-time application in OOPS, you have to start with what? Classes concept. To develop any application in OOPS, first you have to start with a class. Day one onwards, I'm starting with what? Object, class, object. Though you don't know class, we started with class and object. So to develop any to develop any real-time application, they'll ask what is a real-time application. Example, int development you take. What is int? Class. Python software is one of the universal real product, right or not? Float is a class, bool is a class. They will ask you, how do you know that? Go to help of what? Int, help of float, help of bool. They're all called classes. To develop any real-time application, to store your customized, to go for programmer defined data type, I'll use which concept? Classes. Don't tell like a 1947 blunder mistakes. Don't do like other student. A class is a collection of objects. That is the first thing our teacher said. Even in my class also, when we have oops in last year C++, they said like that only. When D Isha company came to our campus, they asked the C++ questions. What is a class? Purpose of class? He is a project manager that time. He was C++ project manager. He asked a question, what is the class? We said everybody, class is a collection of objects. He said blunder, blunder, blunder. He said he did not take any student. He went off. D is a big company. That time came. He did not take any student. He directly said they don't know class concept only. But my sir said what? Object. We asked the sir after they went off. I asked us directly to sir. Sir, you said a class is a collection of object. I said directly, what is a class? Class, collection of object. He said blunder. Who said this? He asked directly to me only. Because I said more confidently. The placements means we like it now. Myself only said more confidently. You want to discourage my confidence. Class is a collection of objects. I said bus, lorry, donkey, all these things I said. He said, who said to you all these things? Get out, he said. Directly said me like this only. He said, I came out and I said the same thing to him. Same thing. Sir, he said like that, get out, he said. Even my to another friend also he said. He said, I said three example. He said more example. Tiger, dog, he said more example. Get out, he said. Please leave. Waste, he said like that, it seems. So because over excitement will give you this type of punishment. I said to him, what is this? He's saying, no, he cannot say, you don't know. He is a project manager. He is doing what here? Giving wrong answer, getting the punishment on us. He gave some training. When we go there, if fighten with us, make it collapse. When we train now, when you go to an interview, you have to win the heart of the interviewer. Like that, you have to learn it. And finally, I used to say every day to him, good morning, when we went to the class. Next day onwards, no good morning, nothing. Because of him, I got the word called get out. A project manager said, he did not look at me also. Beginning, he asked, what is the class? I said that word. Bendy, he said, and I'm still continuing my answer. Get out, he said. Then what is the use? Finally, because of him, we got the coding. And others are fearing to go. Their roll numbers behind us only. I said to him, is a wrong definition, don't tell this, I said. Because I have little over excitement in the college. Because of that only, sometimes problems, sometimes advantages. Internal time, problem. But whenever they give less internal marks, I used to show to the directly to the faculty. See, sir, my data structure marks is 80 out of 80. You give only 18. Then what is this? I used to ask. They used to say, then what to do? Then I said, please be careful. I said, I don't say. I said that. We came out. That's all. Let it be, students. Anyhow, it is process completed. Come to the point. What is the use of programmer defined data type? I am saying the purpose of the purpose of the purpose of developing the purpose of developing programmer defined data types is that to store which data, customized data, to store customized data, plus to perform what, customized operations. You take dict stores the data. On the data, we need to do operations or not. What are there in dict? Get function, copy function, clear function, pop item function. Next up, keys function, values function, items function. These many functions are there. So in dict, what is available? Data to store plus to perform the data on that functions are also there. So in dict, what is there? Data plus methods, data plus functions. Why data? To organize. Why functions? To perform. Not getting. After you go to the class, after class is completed, you'll go to home or not? You'll take food or not? What that food is called? Data. Data. What you will do? Eat. What is eat? Function. Food is called what? Data. What you will do on that? Operation. What is that operation? Eat. While eating, you will mix something, and eating. Correct or not? These are all called what? Various functions operating on the data. List you take it. List is containing what? Data plus what? List functions. Set you take it. Data plus set related functions. Dict, data plus dict related functions. Correct or not? Tuple data plus tuple related functions. What is a class? A class is ready to organize the data and ready to perform the operations on the data which you stored. So inside the class, what is present that reflect on the object? Correct or not? Now, what is the purpose of developing programmer defined data type? To store customized data, to perform customized operations. When I downloaded, go to apps. When I downloaded Zomato application data is there, plus what? Operations also there. When you download Swiggy, same food app only, but there is a data organization, their own functions are there. When I come to what Uber Travels, they have their own data to organize, they have their own functions. When I go to iMobile app, ICICI iMobile app, they have their own data, plus they have their own functions. When you go to Union Bank mobile app is there. They have their own data plus they have their own operations. Getting students? Net banking, you take it. They have their own data plus they have their own operations. So what to do? What is our plan of doing? Customized data. Which data you want to store? Put it in one plan. What functions you want to put? Put it in one plan. Plan of development is called a class. That plan implementation is called what? Object. Go to our basic example. You want to construct a home. What you will do? Plan. What you will tell to the designer, architect, I want like this. I want like this. I want this points. You will note it down in the rough paper. You will take the land measurements. You will exactly plan according to Vastu and all. You will put that requirement in your paper. That paper he will give to you. Will you live in the paper? Will you sell that paper for crores of rupees? They are valueless, but it is important. What is that paper related documentation is called? Class. What it contains? What are the number of rooms? What are the dimensions? What are the things available in that? It's saying what you are doing inside also you are saying. He is mentioning the data to store, plus he is mentioning what to do in which place. That is called, once if I design a class, I am specifying what to store and I am specifying how to operate. That is called what? Class designing. Some people will call blueprint, yellow print, Xerox print, all these things. This is all called waste words. A class is a specification of the real-time problem. My plan house is called specification. Specification of my house is called plan. That plan I will give to the builder. A builder is an illiterate. An architect is a more qualified. He will design, he will give, he will understand, and he will implement as it is this one. Who is a more important? Builder or architect? Architect is important. What he designed, same thing will come the house. When he is building, you don't know signature also, for example, he will build as it is what he gave it. So who is important? Specification is important. One more example. You want to stitch a, you want to go for stitching a shirt. You purchased what? Cloth you purchased. Understanding? Then you will go to the tailor shop. Tailor will take what first? Huh? He will bring, he will take measurements. He'll take measurements. Measurements are there in a paper. You will say, wear this shirt, he will say, na? Will you wear will you wear measurements? No. What is that? Specification of your shirt. And he will give what? Cloth he will give. You will prepare an object on the specification or not? That specification who is taking is a good person, and there are a lot of people are sitting along with him. He will give that measurements and that cloth he will give. Person who is stitching need not to have the knowledge. The stitching measurements are important. Who is this person is doing? Defining the class. Others are doing what? Implementing. Inside the class, you are specifying what to be there, what not to be there, what to perform, what not to perform. You are mentioning there. Are you following me? So inside the class, what will present? Data members to store the data plus functions you are writing to operate on the data which is available in the object. So what is the class? Class I am writing. See students, this is the class. What is the class here? Student. Student is called what? Class. Types of students are what? Objects. Inside the class, I planned to design what? Number I want to store? SNO. Name I want to store? Yes, name. I want to store M1, M2, M3. These are the, what these are all called? Data members. What I planned to create my own object, student. What are the things I want to store inside? Only five. Only five. Five. Are you getting? This is storing what? Data. Specification I'm defining. Inside, get to student data, get the SD, display SD, calculate, display, and decide the grade. Like that, I am having my own functions. In which class? What these are called what? Functions. In OOPS, functions are called methods. Functions are called what? Methods. What is a class? A class is a collection of what? Data members and what? Methods. Actually, not only two. Under the data members, types are there. Under the methods, types are there. In the class, I can write constructors. In the class, I can write a destructor. In the class, I can write 5 things. Data members, methods, constructors, destructor. Inside the class, data members 2 types. Instance, class level. Methods 3. Instance level, class level, static. Constructor, default, parameterized. Destructor, garbage collector also I will write it. These many things will be there. That's why concept to understand very clearly. I will tell when the set is stitching, he will ask anything else you want to say. I will tell him, I want 2 packets, left side one thing, right side one thing. I want 2 packets. He will measure. Shut 2 packets, he will draw the symbol. Is it mean that your shirt is now itself containing that paper is containing 2 shirts? No. You want a double stitches on your shoulders. You will tell. You want a little different buttons you want to. You will tell your all the specifications or not. You will mention everything. When the object is coming, whatever you mentioned in the specification, everything will come in the object or not. So whenever I create an object, what are all the things you defined in the class that are coming to where? Object. Correct or not? So tell me, first you will define class or object. So inside the class, what is there? What to store data and what are the operations you will do. So that class doesn't contain what? Memory space. Memory space will be coming when you create what? Object. When measurements are there, your set is not ready. When house plan is there, house is not ready. You have to implement that. That implementation of class is called what? Object. Where are you storing the data? Where are you storing the data? Object. To create an object, what is required? Class. What is the definition of class? Tell me if you are talented now, if you understood me. Inside the class, what I am writing? What to store? There is the data members. What to perform? Functions inside the class. Class inside, functions inside the class are called methods. Without class, only functions you write is a functional programming. Subprograms without the classes is called function. Subprograms inside the class is called what? Methods. First of all, actually class concept coming from where, education field it is coming. Tell me, in my class, what is there? In my class, what is there? Huh? In my class, what is there? In my class, what is there? In the camera, on the board, what is there? In the board, what is there? Data. Data there. Data. Who is accessing that? You people are accessing. Who am I? Class name. Class name contains what? And accessors. Accessors are nothing but doing operation. Some of them are understanding, some of them are half understanding, half not understanding. Some of them are totally thinking outside when sir will leave, when to eat jalebi, pani puri outside like that. These are all called what? Different type of operations. What is a class? A class is a collection of data members and methods. Methods are called what? Functions. Whenever I define a class, memory space will not be created. Memory space will be created when we create an object. What are all the things we define in the class? Same thing will come as a part of object. Are you following? So where are you storing the data? Where are you storing the data? In the object. Everybody will say in the object, but it is a not correct answer. Example. When the class is over, you will keep the books in where? Huh? Bag. Okay, when you open your bag, what is available? ఏం స్టూడెంట్స్ మీకు ఏం నాలెడ్జ్ లేదు పోడలేదు. So when you open my bag, there are selves are there. First self, second self, third self. You may say, sir, no selves are there. When you open the bag, that itself is a self only. First self, books, second self, laptop, another self, something. In my bag, one self contains laptop, another self contains charger, another self contains my tiffin box is there. Tiffin box, morning tiffin box, lunch, everything is there. So even tea cup is also there. Tea cup is also there. Why? Other tea cup, paper cups will contain something inside that you should not. So finally, what is I'm trying to say? Where are you storing your books? In the compartments in the bag. That compartment is first data member, second data member, third data member. So when the bag was defined, they said data member one, data member two, data member three. When the tailor stitches that, you will put how many compartments? So where are you storing the data? In the data members of object. Object contains data members with memory space. Methods with memory space. Where are you storing the data? In the object, in the data members of object, in the data members of object. See, where you will keep your earphones? In ear. Ear is what? It is the data member in the human being object. Yes or no? You want to eat jalebi. You will eat the jalebi by which data member you will take? Tongue is there, teeth is there, all of them are working or not. So, you will wear the specs to ears to eyes like that. I gave good example. Don't tell this example in interview because you are layman's in the class and object. I gave correct picture. You apply in all the things, you'll get perfection. Look at. So, coming to the point back, here I am going to say class. So, lot of people are feeling hungry now because if I leave you, tomorrow you will forget and come to my class. But I don't want. So, if I go to that class concept, I'm giving only the classes concept. Please read out. The purpose of classes concept is that to develop programmer defined data type to develop any real-time application. The purpose of developing programmer defined data type is that to store customized data to perform customized operations. To develop programmer defined data by using classes concept, we use a keyword class. Class list, class int, class tuple, int, tuple, list are called what? Class names. Every class name is called what? Data type. Class student, class insufficient fund error, class deposit error, class withdraw error in exceptions. Look at in Python programming, class names are treated as what? Programmer defined data type. In OOPS, all programs must start with a class name. Without class names, we can't develop any program or application. Point to point, whatever is explained, everything word to word. Definition of a class. A class is a collection of data members and methods. Functions in OOPS are called methods. Somebody will ask, what is the difference between function and method? Actually, both of them same. Little difference. When you are in India, you are an Indian. When you go to Ireland, you are what? Different. When you go to USA, different. When you go to Australia, you are different. Same person only. Same Hemnath is Hemnath only. Correct or not? Right. So, come to the point of it. When we define a class, there is no memory space created for data members and methods. But whose memory space is created when we create an object with respect to class? Class will exist how many times? One time. Objects I can create many number na? L1, L2, L3, L4. All of them are object of what? List class only. When all the data members and methods are available in a class, which are appearing as it is as a part of object with a memory space, so that programmer can store the data in the data members of object and performs operations on the data members of object by using methods. This is called a class. What is there? Here 4.5 points are there. Here 3 points are there. Totally 8 points. Go to interview. When they ask C++, what is the class? Tell this. Java, same. C++, Java, anywhere, same. If you take any person who is explaining Java class, what is the class? After listening the class, what is the class? You don't know what is the name of the class. Total class is confusing class. Yes, clarity important in subject. Programming is important. Anyhow, I'll go for concluding. Tomorrow class, when I come back, I'll talk about the syntax for defining a class in Python. Understood? So today, whatever I said, read and come tomorrow class. So time is almost getting over. It is at 9 o'clock. It is at 8 o'clock 56 minutes. 7 o'clock 56 minutes. Whatever it is, time is over. That is not important. Subject is important here. So I'll stop the class. Online students, I hope there is no doubt. So today almost time is over. Today there is no online doubts. I hope everybody was listening very carefully. Still, I will ask you any doubts are there. I'll stop students. Tomorrow I will continue the syntax for defining a class. Morning 9 o'clock, new batch is started. Today's special point is one student came. How many alphabets are there? BTech mechanical student. So 22. 22. Alphabets 22. When he started saying na, he said 19 only. Counted. And it's totally looking so different. That's why I asked the beginning question. He started here only. Totally different. By looking at him, I've got something. I asked how many alphabet? 22. What are those? He said, I counted. Personally, I counted one by one. Everybody counted. 19 came. Again, he said, 21 came. 22. BTech mechanical. Completed. 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 That's why these days engineering is having problem. What to do? I'm getting problem. So I got morning. I want to get retirement from my teaching. I felt later. I felt okay. Let it be this 22. We know 52. Like that, I said. Okay, students. Anyhow, leave that. So, any students are there other than this kind of candidates? Tell to the good people. New batch is started. Okay, students. I'll stop the class tomorrow. Don't miss it. Thank you. All the best. Students in the online. Any doubts? Having any doubts, students? If any doubts are there, raise the hands quickly. So, no more doubts. Okay, students, take care. And I'll upload these notes and download and read the notes. Thank you. All the best.